welcome back to my channel. I am Jazzallegra and I am a nurse educator, and I'm here to give you some tips and tricks, and this one is for my brand new nurses starting orientation soon. So congratulations on getting your job, congratulations on passing the NCLEX. That is a huge milestone. Orientation can feel overwhelming. It is a lot of people talking to you, but it is the golden opportunity to set yourself up for success in whatever job you have landed. But I'm going to break it down in my top 5 tips that I tell my new nurses here, even my experienced nurses going into like a brand new field, so they can feel like they're getting the most out of their orientation and feel confident when they have to now be on their own. Let's get into it. But first, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up because it does help my channel and lets me know what other videos I need to make that you enjoy watching and I love to make. You can see me on all these other platforms here and follow me there. Well, let's get into the video. First tip is be a sponge. Have you heard that? Because it's true. Be a sponge. Any sponge you need to be, think about it, be a sponge. Be a scrub daddy. But orientation is just not about learning policies and where the cafeteria is and who makes the best coffee. It's about absorbing just as much as you can. You want to watch how the experienced nurses for that floor, or experienced nurses in general, how they handle patient care, how they listen to others, how they communicate with the other disciplinaries that happen to come on their floor, and take notes. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to have like pen and paper. Take notes, because you're not going to remember everything all at once, and then when you're on your own you can always refer back to it and be like, what was that again? So take your notes. Even if something doesn't seem important at the time, you just want to write it down, because I want you to know the details of whatever topic that you're like, I thought I remember seeing that, I thought I remember somebody talking to me about that. You can always go back and look over your notes and be like, ah, that's what that is. Number 2, ask questions. Asking questions is something that your preceptor should be prepared for you to do. But honestly, if they're not, don't be afraid to look and experience. That's literally the point of orientation, is so that you can gain experience, so that you can learn. You're in a learning process of learning how to do the job, learning how to work that floor, learning how to work that area. Ask the questions. If you're unsure about a procedure, medication, or even where the supplies are kept, just go ahead, speak up, and ask the question. Again, asking questions help prevent you from making mistakes later, because you never took the time to be like, let me really ask the nuance of why they're doing that or happening later, and it shows your preceptor that you're engaged and eager to learn. And sometimes when you ask the right questions that open up more of an explanation to a procedure, or like to a diagnosis or to a medication, your preceptor might be open up and be like, oh yeah, let me tell you more about that, and you gain more knowledge. And again, paper and pen, write down what you need to write down, because you'll probably need it for later. Tip number 3, build relationships. Right? You're gonna need you need your ride or die respiratory therapist, your physical therapist, that pharmacist who doesn't mind answering all of your questions if you happen to call down there. Like, build relationships. Your nursing is a team. Nursing is a team sport. Nursing is a team sport. So even the staff on the floor, build a relationship. It doesn't have to be something quite deep. You're not making best friends. You're making work teammates. And so if you ask for help with rolling a patient, moving on a patient, cleaning a patient, or just simply, can you explain this to me? You have that relationship and you know who your go-to people are for that. So get to know your preceptor, your fellow nurses, and even the rest of the support staff that come and help. A friendly attitude goes a long way, especially for my new baby nurses who are coming in. Most of, especially in this facility and other facilities I have worked at, I find that most CNAs and PCTs, who have an older population, that will be your older generation and older in age-wise who are on the floor. And so you have to kind of tier the line of how you delegate and ask for things to be done through them. You can't just be like, well, you're a PCT, that's your job. It's an unsaid thing. I think they know that is their job, but you don't have to in that manner and in that way. You want to build that relationship with them by giving them a report, by saying, hey, and doing things that you don't have to delegate off. Giving somebody a glass of water, you don't have to delegate that off to them. Things that are not going to really interrupt your flow, that you can go ahead and go do, right? It's not like, oh, I have to pass this medication, but this person also needs to be clean. I'm not telling you to not pass your medication and clean the patient. You can delegate that off and be like, hey, can you clean this patient? I really have to pass this patient a medication. And when I finish this medication, passing this patient, then I can be right there to help you if you need my help. But if you can start with him, that'd be great. Many of my new nurses who come out here who do not harp the advice of lead with a good attitude, usually go into like these little fighting matches, and these senior PCT members, PCA, CNAs, they'll leave you to dry. They'll hang you out. Just drying in the field, and you'll be over there wasting your breath, arguing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because somehow they'll find another, they'll go to another nurse and tell that other nurse about everything else. They'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in here clean this patient. What you'll do is sit there, wait, you have to finish whatever you're doing and then go ahead and clean your patient. You'll find out that they'll figure out a way to leave you out there. So please lead with a good attitude. It goes a long way. It butters up the bread. It does. And do it early, because it's hard to try and like turn the tables once you've already like made everything a little rotten. So just lead with it very early. You'll feel more comfortable with how to ask and how to like speak to your support staff and any of the rest of your coworkers, and it makes them want to help you because they see that, oh, she's not really like dictating me what I need to do. She's asking me, she's offering, we're both working together for this patient load. And that is, I think, ultimately what most of the PCT CNAs are really asking the nurses to do, right? Is for it to feel like cohesively we're working together, rather than, oh, I told her and she told me type situation. So you need to build that trust and have that work commune look like that. And that starts with a great attitude from the beginning. Number 4, reflect daily. At the end of the shift, you should basically write down things that you're like, what was that? I've never seen that. Or even the like diagnoses that you have like never heard about. I specifically remember when I was a brand new nurse, the diagnosis that I probably did hear it in school, but when I got on the floor, I was like, oh my God, I've never, what is that? I have to look that up. I have to understand what that was, because not this hospital, it was a different hospital. The other hospital I worked at I was on the trauma floor, and the patient came over with rhabdo. And I was like, what is rhabdo? What is that? So I wrote it down, and then I went and I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that's what that is, and whatnot. And I did ask my preceptor, you know, do we get this type of patient with this diagnosis a lot? And they said, yeah, you know, we have runners, we have drug abusers, we have, you know, she was listing out the list, and I'm like writing it down because now I need to understand what this is, because this is something that I'm going to frequently run into. And it's good to know things that you have, even if you're not going to frequently run into. It's just good to know. You also want to like write down your challenges, right? Things where like it was explained to you, or even things that you had to like re-demonstrate or like actually do by yourself, and you're like, I felt super unsteady with that. You want to write down the challenge so that you can remind yourself to be proactive as to, I really don't feel comfortable putting it in Foley's. So your preceptor can, or even the charge nurse for that day can say, hey, if anybody has a Foley to place in, can you get the new nurse, the new orientee to come and either watch or actually do for you, so that your hands-on experience feels much more. Action helps you track your growth and things that you feel like you're stuck on. So think of it like a to-do list, right? I still need to touch on chest tubes. I still need to put in a Foley. I still want to put in more IVs. So you can have that running list, and then when you finally get pushed out the nest to be on your own, you have kind of a foothold as to feel like, I felt like my orientation process kind of held me together as into knowing what I need to do and how I should do things. Having that little jot down set when you're going back and looking back over it, you're like, wow, I've come a long way from what I didn't know, what I learned, and where I am. The last tip in question is to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Orientation is stressful. You being a new nurse is stressful. New unit is stressful. You're talking to strangers and handling multiple personalities is a stress of its own. And on top of it, if you wrap that all in the bubble, is that you're holding lives in your hand, like decision making in your hand, and a lot of responsibility. And that can be taxing if you don't have a way to take care of that. And taking care of that is taking care of yourself. Make sure you're eating well, make sure you're staying hydrated, make sure you're getting enough rest. A clear mind and a healthy body will help you to be able to make it through orientation, may help you to retain that information, and it also helps you able to come to work and show your best self, and not one where like, girl, I'm here. You know, so you came here to learn, to pick up something, and to be the best nurse that you and I know that you can be. So there you go. That is my top 5 tips of making the most out of your nursing orientation. Be a sponge, ask questions, build relationships, reflect on a daily basis, and remember to take care of yourself, because you can't fill other people's cup if your cup is not full. So remember you. Orientation is, remember, your launch pad into nursing, and I want you to be able to fully embrace that with confidence. If you found this helpful, remember to hit the thumbs up, subscribe for more nursing tips, and drop a comment below. Make sure you share what you wish you knew before starting orientation, or if you are starting orientation, and what are your hopes of like getting out of your orientation process. Thanks for hanging out with me, and good luck. You've got this. Bye.